Hi, I'm Daniel Andrews, owner and creator of askandrewsfootball.com. Welcome to my Week 16 preview and race to the playoffs. But if you're new to my channel and you haven't done it yet, there's this button right down here. See it. Bam! Hit that button. Become one of the greatest people on planet Earth. My channel, scientifically proven to make all your wildest dreams come true. Now, unlike most of my videos where I go ahead and break down each game, and I can break down all 16 games. If there's a game you want me to go over and I don't go over it, just hit me up at askandrewsfootball@yahoo.com. Shoot me an email, and I'll go ahead and go over all that information for you. Now, if you're wanting to put some action down, I made a video yesterday. I'm going to put it in the description below. Just take a look there, and I'll give you 3 games you can put action on, plus a bonus 4th game that I don't like quite as much, but it's kind of a wild card. Watch the video. So here's the deal. I'm going to break down the AFC and the NFC playoff picture. I already know what's going to happen in both divisions. I already know what the wild card games are going to be, and I'm going to share that with you, and I'm going to share how it's going to happen in the playoff games. I'm not looking at the Week 16 games that don't have playoff implications. Now, let's just start with the AFC. Saturday morning, the first game that you wake up to Saturday, it's going to be a great game. Houston at Tampa Bay. With a win, Houston gets the division and gets a playoff berth. Now, bottom line, even if Tennessee beats the Saints, which I don't think they will, but even if both teams win, Houston holds the tiebreaker. So, bottom line, Houston wins, they're in. If Houston and Tennessee win, Tennessee still fights for the 6th seed. Houston's locked into the 4th seed. Now, if Houston loses and Tennessee wins, then that's a different scenario. But Houston does hold the tiebreaker, so winning in. The next game that shows up Saturday is Buffalo at New England. Now, both teams are automatically in the playoffs. This is only a game for playoff seeding, but it's only for the Patriots. Let me explain. If Buffalo wins this game, both teams will end up finishing 12-4, but New England holds the tiebreaker. And if you're looking at standings, you're going to go, wait, Dan, they both have the same divisional record, so how can Buffalo? Common opponents. Buffalo lost to both Cleveland and Philly. New England beat both teams. So if both teams finish 12-4 with a Buffalo win, New England still wins the division, but the issue is because they're only 1 game ahead of Kansas City, and Kansas City beat them. Instead of a 2 seed, they could be a 3 seed. That's very key. So that buys a big deal. Trust me on this. So New England really wants to win this game because they could be a 2 seed or they could be a 3 seed. Buffalo's basically locked into a 5 seed. Now, is it possible that Miami can come to New England the last week of the season and beat New England? Yes, it's possible, and monkeys might fly out of my ass. I don't know. But I'm telling you this right now, New England's going to win that division. The only question really is that do they win and get a bye, or do they lose and have to go on the road for 2 games, not just 1? And that's a big deal for a team with a 42-year-old quarterback and a shaky offensive line. So, Buffalo fans, you're not going to win the division, even if you win the game. But, well, does it do anything for your playoffs? Actually, no, it doesn't. You're a 5 seed, win or lose. I really don't think it's that big of a deal for you, but for New England, it's a big deal. Okay? Sunday's games, Baltimore, Cleveland. Baltimore wins. They get a bye, of course, if New England loses. They're guaranteed 1 seed, so they're cheering for Buffalo. But with a win, they get to rest Lamar Jackson. I think that's a huge deal. They really want to get a bye, and they really want the 1 seed. But the big deal is when you got a quarterback that runs as much as Lamar Jackson, giving them Week 17 off against a tough Steelers defense is smart. It'll be interesting to see if they do it. I'm telling you right now, they are going to do it, but not all teams want to rest their players. It'll be interesting to see if he does. I'd bet money that he does. But so it's a big game. Remember, Cleveland's the last team that beat Baltimore, so there is sort of a revenge factor there. And not only that, Freddie Kitchens is coaching for his job. Not focusing on that because Cleveland's not in the playoffs, but it is going to be a big game. It'll be a fun game. Saints at Tennessee. Again, if Houston loses, Tennessee has a chance to win the division. Tennessee still in the playoff picture. They are tied with Pittsburgh at 8-6. So this is a huge game for Tennessee. Now keep in mind, if Buffalo wins, they cannot win the division, but they still have a wild card spot to fight for with Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh, of course, will go to the Jets. Both teams are tied. Both Pittsburgh and Tennessee are tied at 8-6. They're both fighting for that last wild card spot. Sunday night football, Kansas City at Chicago. Now the Chiefs already won the West. What they're hoping for is a Buffalo win so that they can get a bye. Remember, if New England loses one of their last two games and Kansas City wins their next two, they would get the 2 seed instead of New England. Right now, they're locked in the 3 seed. They need to win at Chicago. Chicago is really out of the playoffs, unfortunately, because even if Minnesota loses out and they win their next 2 games, they can't have a better record, so they're not in the playoffs. I'm kind of surprised they didn't move the game and put a different game in there, but whatever. It's a great game for me, and it's a great game for Sunday night. It's going to be a fun game for these two teams, so I'm really excited about this. Now, if the Chiefs lose and Houston wins, instead of being a 3 seed, they drop to a 4 seed. And that's going to be tough because I think Buffalo beat Pittsburgh. I think Buffalo's a significantly more dangerous team than either Pittsburgh or Tennessee in the playoffs. Now, if you're a Chiefs fan, you don't want to see Tennessee. Tennessee's kind of had the Chiefs number the last several times they've played. So that's something to think about. But Kansas City really needs this game so they can keep in the race for the bye. NFC playoff picture. Rams will play San Francisco. San Francisco is one of 4 teams with an 11-3 record. So they're trying to be either the 1, 2, 3, or 5 seed. The winner of the NFC East will be the 4 seed. So they need a win for a bye and possibly posturing. Not only because here's the deal: they can win the division and be a 3 seed, or they could lose the division and be a 5 seed. They could be a 1 or 2 seed. Either or. I mean, a lot of things are really in play. The Rams have the slightest of hopes to get into the playoffs. They need to win this game, and then they need Minnesota to lose their next 2. Minnesota hosts Green Bay in a very tough game, so they still have a chance. Plus, these games, divisional games are always difficult, so it's going to be a fun game to end Saturday night. Next NFC game I already talked about, Saints at Tennessee. Again, the Saints could be a 1 seed, a 2 seed, a 3 seed. They cannot be a 4 seed because that's going to be the NFC East winner, and they're not going to be a 5 seed, but they need a bye. And I think this is important because out of the Saints, San Francisco, and Green Bay, the team that would do the most damage with the bye are the Saints. Sean Payton is the most experienced coach out of those 3 teams. Kyle Shanahan's just his 2nd year, and I'm drawing a blank on the Packers coach. LaFleur, it's his 1st year. Payton, of course, has been with the Saints organization. I want to say 2006. Is that it? I mean, he's been a coach for a long time. Very underrated guy. But he's the most dangerous coach with a bye. I think whether Saints have a 1 seed or a 2 seed, it doesn't really matter. But you give them a bye, whoever plays them in the divisional round is almost destined to lose. Where I don't think a bye means quite as much to either San Francisco or Green Bay. So this game against Tennessee is really huge for the Saints because they get a bye. They're going to advance. All right, I wouldn't say that about San Francisco or Green Bay, but the Saints, they get a 1 or a 2 seed. They're going to be in the championship. It's just, do they host it or do they go on the road? NFC title is up for grabs. Dallas at Philly. Now, to be fair, if Philly wins and then they lose the next week and Dallas wins the next week, Dallas would hold the tiebreaker. But if Dallas wins, they're in. Plain and simple. If Dallas wins, they're in. Philly wins, then they still need to win the following week, or they can have Dallas lose. So Dallas holds the tiebreaker, bottom line. So that this game's huge. Basically, winner gets in. Arizona at Seattle. Seattle will host San Francisco week 17 in a great game. Again, they could be a 1 seed, a 2 seed, a 3 seed, or a 5 seed. So they need a win. This is a dangerous game for them. Arizona, of course, won last week by a couple touchdowns and are a young team that would love nothing more than knock off a divisional rival. But keep in mind, San Francisco will play Seattle last game of the season for the division. The bye is up for grabs. So, and the 1 seed overall, that's still up for grabs. And then, so they really need a win. Monday Night Football, Green Bay at Minnesota. Minnesota is the only undefeated team at home in the whole NFL. Here's the problem: if Minnesota wins and both teams go 12-4, Green Bay holds the tiebreaker. So Green Bay would end up winning the division. So basically, what Minnesota's hoping for is that win, and then Green Bay loses the next 2 games, because if Minnesota wins the next 2 games, they will win the North. Now, keep in mind, if the Rams lose on Saturday, Minnesota's already guaranteed a spot in the playoffs. And if Minnesota wins, let's say the Rams win and Minnesota wins, then they're in a spot for the playoffs. So there's a good chance that they already get a playoff spot even before this game. But the division is up for grabs. Keep in mind, even if they win this game, they still need Green Bay to lose. If Green Bay wins, they're 1 game ahead of Minnesota. So if Green Bay wins, they are putting themselves in a good position for a bye. With a loss, they can still win the division. I know, okay, so all that information was a little confusing. It was kind of all over the place. So let me just kind of recap. And basically what I'm going to do is I'm just going to break down what's going to happen. These are your playoffs. So listen, if you want some excitement for week 17, I stop the video right now and go check out like my top 10 Chiefs of all time. Great series. But basically here's what's going to happen. In the AFC, Baltimore's going to get the 1 seed. New England's going to get the 2 seed. Kansas City's going to get the 3 seed. Houston's going to get the 4 seed. Buffalo's got the 5 seed. Pittsburgh's going to get the 6 seed. Your wild card games are going to go. Pittsburgh's going to travel to Arrowhead, play my Chiefs. Buffalo is going to go to Houston. In the NFC, the Saints are going to end up with the 1 seed. Seattle's going to get the 2 seed. Green Bay's going to get the 3 seed. The winner between Dallas and Philly, I think it's going to be Dallas. It's going to get the 4 seed. San Francisco is going to get the 5 seed. Minnesota's going to get the 6 seed. Your wild card matchup, and this is going to be a fun one. Minnesota's going to go to Green Bay. And then San Francisco will travel to Dallas. Now, no live stream, because there's football playing. I'm not going to tell you, hey, stop watching the fucking game so you can join the live stream. No, screw that. I'm not going to do that. So no live stream. Live stream next week. We talk about anything you want. Like I say, anything goes. So listen, if you're new to my channel and you haven't done this already, and why the fuck haven't you? There's a button right here. I blew it up for you. So see it. Bam! Hit that button. Become one of the greatest people on planet Earth. I will see you Tuesday.